Hey guys, it's Annik at our monthly club night in London. Today we're with Ed, and he's going to talk on social media psychology tonight. But right now, I'd love to quiz him about speaking, because I know he speaks a lot. He does big, crazy audiences. He runs his own events, but he does other gigs as well. Now, main question is, how do you use speaking for business growth? What's a trick of yours to really help everyone who's watching using it to their maximum benefit?
They're all speakers, yeah?
He was just asking if you're all speakers.
Are you
so
a speaker?
If you're watching that, I hope you're a speaker.
Yes. Okay, so standard, like if you can run your own events, and rather than having to go out and get a load of business, if you can fill up your own event, if you can fill up a room with people that want to learn something and that you be at the front, then that's standard authority. And I started in consultancy when I was 22, going around pitching my services.
22, that was last
22,
year?
heavy, yeah, like that, nice. 2 years ago. And I started in consultancy, pitching, clients to go in and teach them how to sell and mindset and productivity and all that sort of stuff. And I realized, although that was great to get a client to pay you to come into their business, what I started doing back in the old days is buying data and running a consultancy-based business, buying data, calling it up and booking a room and doing a discovery day of how I can help you start building, grow your business, and which today really is still very much the same. We do that, but we use the major traffic source, which is social, which is what you're watching right now, and it's a standard. Like if learning to speak and influence and persuade is like the number one skill in business. So it's lucky you've got someone as great as Annik to be there to support you. But I'm serious. Like having that. What's really important, and the reason that you should be here right now is that you need to practice it. It's purely a practice-based skill, and once you can start standing up, delivering your message confidently, whether you're in a business or you're in a job right now, it's going to massively impact your authority. I mean, even if you went into your job role and you started standing up with more authority in meetings to negotiate your contract, to influence someone else within the team, you're going to massively impact your salary on a massive level. So is that okay?
Yeah. Answers my question. Look, if you have ever read Warren Buffett's biography, or autobiography, someone wrote it, but on the first page he refers to public speaking. So when he went to university, he did immediately a course on speaking. Like, it is a super powerful tool, and it's really interesting because most of you, I know, you get out there, you hustle for gigs to get on other people's stages, but really learning about event marketing, filling your own rooms can be a very, very powerful thing to do as well.
That's why you're missing out today, because on a serious note though, you put, the last event we put 900 people in the room that come to your own event through social. It's, today you don't, back in the day you'd have to beg a promoter to get up on stage, like the big promoters in the world, then you're going to have a sales process, you're going to have to be able to convert in 90 minutes, and you're going to have to split that and then split your back end and all of those things. And I think today is undervalued, really building an audience, being able to talk to an audience, to engage in an audience through social, even if it's not, even if you're not doing it in an event, you can still do it online, you can do it on YouTube, you can do it on Facebook, you can do your lives. And that's really what we're doing today, guys. All right, so we're going through some key 7 processes that you can start, utilizing socially. Because I know people know it, but a lot of people don't do it. And what's really exciting, because it is so, because it's everywhere now. People take it for granted. And so I'm here to tell you, a lot of people think it's really saturated, but I really don't think it is. I don't think it's as saturated if you stay consistent and you think long term, because I don't care how many people are watching, I don't care how many people are following. Sometimes I put a video up and no one ever watches it. Sometimes it gets a bit more traction. Sometimes I've had 5 million people view it. And so it doesn't matter if you have the same ethos of I love it, I'm gonna, this is what I do. This is like what I'm really into. I'm passionate about it. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, that's so true. It is really about the consistency in your business. Now, I want to ask you one question. Here at Speak Express, at our accelerator programs, we currently have 90% women on the program.
What is that about?
It's amazing.
What is that? So if you're single and a man, all right, you need
Hey,
to... What? No.
We don't want any
You need to
single
get
men.
down
We
here.
want qualified speakers who really want to take their business
That's
to
a
the
good
next
point.
level.
There's a lot of...
Maybe tonight, actually, we have quite a few
a
men,
lot of-
actually. But here's the next question. We have noticed a lot of women, when it comes to selling themselves, they're like, oh,
yes.
I hate bragging,
Yeah.
like, don't make me
Yeah.
do that. But how can you close business, if you don't sell?
100%.
So what's your tip to any male, female out there who really feel, oh, sales is not my favorite thing?
And I get asked this a lot, and like I love sales. I love the sales process, and you've got to understand that and I've been there for a long time where like in the past you used to be able to just deliver some content and actually just run a discovery day and people would buy. But the reason today you need to get better at sales is everyone is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Everyone is procrastinating and there's so much info. And so for the last 4 years I've done a much stronger commitment process because, you gotta, if you really believe in what you're doing, then, and you believe in the service and you care and you love that person, then you want them to have the product. I don't need it from a financial resource. I have a much more successful business. I have a land investment-based business. It's FCA regulated. I don't need to make any money from education. So when someone buys a product, it makes zero impact in my financial status. However, it will make a difference for them. And it's very important. Like I never wanted to, I have no issues with anyone that's selling education to make money, but like you've also got to I spent years talking to people after like events, etc., that didn't purchase, that really freaking need it, and sometimes people need to be told, and they need a path to purpose, and they need someone to guide them. And again, I always say I got into public speaking through charity. Really, that's when I did the most heaviest amount of pitching. I've started 3 core charities where we had to raise a lot of cash, and unless you can get people to buy into yourself and your mission, they're never gonna pay you. And I always go back into it's your duty. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to be able to sell something.
Yes, but unless you sell nuclear weapons, then what I want you to do
Agreed.
is stop doing it and find a business that helps humanity.
Yeah, 100%. So you always can you stand up on stage and sell hard to your parents, to the Pope, to the God that you believe in. Because I did have different businesses. I was around 27. I had a restaurant franchise, and I no longer believed in the business. It was successful. It was doing well. We were scaling it, but the product wasn't good. The working conditions of the people working in the business was far below standard, and so I walked away because I wasn't integral about it. I was involved 3 years ago with a financial trading business, and I got involved based on the offer, and then the offer changed, and I had to walk away. If you wouldn't buy it, then don't sell it. But if you bought it and you love it, then you can sell it. It's no good. No one is ever going to learn from you if you're a fat personal trainer, because you haven't bought health. You have to live and breathe it. But if you have, you can be in the journey. You can be 20 stone and lost 5 stone and be 15 stone and say, look, I fucking love this. I've lost 5 stone, I'm not there yet, but I can help you, and I know the real deal, and I know the battles, and I only get to 10 stone, and I want you to be that's integral, all right? You don't have to be completely 100% perfect of the result, but you have to buy it and be influenced by it, otherwise you can't influence someone else by doing it
That
either.
makes so much sense. So look, it's all about an attitude change. When I started, remember I have a track record of being fired from not 1 but 2 jobs in sales, and I did a lot to get over my fear of rejection, from hypnosis to NLP. Trust me, it took me some time, but now I feel it's beautiful if you see your work develop in the people who work with you. So let me ask one more question. What is something people don't know about you? Like something, I love asking people that question. Sometimes you wouldn't people tell when you meet them for the very first time. Maybe a massive business failure, or
There's so many business failures. Like the first. Here's one. Like I've presented all over the world. I have my own brand. I've spoken in front of 6,000 people in Kenya. My own event I put on. My first ever event at the age of 22 was like literally the worst experience I've ever had. I've been practicing. I literally was like, I'm ready, and I delivered this 4-hour presentation without a break. And I was just so pumped about the fact that I could do it that literally I handed out some feedback forms, and literally not one person said a good thing. Everyone was like, never bring this guy back. So but what it taught me is that I literally had no idea what I was doing. Like I thought I really did, but I had a massive ego. I'd done a huge ego. I'd done a couple of like speaking stuff. I'd done a couple of courses, and I was like, I've got this. I'll stand up. I had like a natural sort of confidence. I thought like I'll be able to nail it, and I got destroyed. And then, but I was, I went into the car. I cried. I called my mama. She said go back in, and I went back in for a week. I went through like what they wanted, and it was really and. I would say like if you can just keep your ego in check, and I started investing heavily into helping like you guys have as well, getting good mentors to help you guide you. And I think one other loss, I lost 500,000 in the business later on around 24, and it really, I think from that day on, I rate myself at staying grounded and humble, and I'm always open to feedback and staying, I do the best I can all the time.
So here's some feedback from me. He's amazing. He has achieved so much. But seriously, you are so humble that I'm even sometimes thinking, why the hell are you so humble? You have no reason.
Being humble is very important, and I think it's like it's very important for your own personal progression. As soon as you think you really know it, then that's when it hits in. And at 27 I had a mini breakdown, and I think all of these things, I'd taken on too much stuff, too busy, trying to do too much at one time, and that again, that's not looking after yourself. That's thinking that you are unstoppable. And so I work for St Mungo Broadway, which is Help the Homeless. I do a business event there every month, and it keeps me really super grounded because that's my key selling point really, is that I'm really personable, I can care, I love it, and that's what I want to. No matter how many people say you're great, you've got to keep everything in track, otherwise it just blows up, especially speaking, right?
It's so true, because one of my mentors, he would always say, oh shit, it's 7 o'clock, you need to start. But one of my mentors would always say, if no one gives you constructive feedback, you've been running out of qualified people to really push you to the next level. So true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to start now.
We'll see you soon. Come.
Meet Elliot. Elliot is somewhere there. Meet Ed. He's posting his link below, and I hope to see you at one of our club nights.
See ya.